We do a lot of assessment around kind of the emotion and motivation behind behaviour, and one of the most common things we see is the emotional state of frustration. You can get into the detail, but essentially it's just, I want X and there's something in my way of getting it. And that's the most common kind of emotional cause of behaviours, especially reactivity.
Right.
That's why reactivity is very, very rarely actually aggression. It's much more likely to be frustration. The problem is when that kind of becomes a pathway to either getting what they want or relieving that frustration. So a lot of the advice and stuff that will help you with will be around kind of twofold. Best case scenario is removing the frustration altogether, which is kind of working on the emotional side of it, which takes longer, or helping kind of change that behavior pathway of like, I want X, but Y is not how I get it. Z in. The situation with her, and I love that you're kind of using food. This will be, I think, the first tip that I can give you is that we have to try and find the differential between what we're rewarding. But in a situation like this where she's stressed, if we kind of take a step back a little bit, what we want to do is work out what is it right now in this situation that's making her feel a bit nervous. What we want to do is make her feel less nervous, or even better, and this is, have you ever heard of counter conditioning? Yeah. Is be that kind of capacity. Well, what is it that's making you nervous, and can we actually make that trigger be something that makes you feel whatever we want it to feel? It could be good, it could be, but the downside to that one, now we might make you aroused in a different way. You're too excitable and stuff. So we're all, again, we might be plugging gaps a little bit, but that's essentially the question that you want to start asking yourself in every situation, is take a step back. Whenever you find she's in an emotional state we don't like, we can see that you're a bit distressed. So what is it, first of all, that's causing that? And are we reinforcing that by accident? And that's often the difficult question, and that's where working as a team will be really useful, because oftentimes it's way easier for you to see you doing it, and then vice versa. And the German Shepherd in us coming out now, she's pacing, she's watching, she's not overly guarding, but she's definitely just, watching. Whereas when you popped her in the down and she went into, there was a really beautiful moment where she went very calm. So I think that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle for you. The ideal is, if you've got a toy or a piece of food, you can extend that really positively, really easily. But again, in a situation like this, if we just keep talking, this will play out. In a second, she'll get distracted. She'll get up, then that arousal level will start to increase, you'll start pacing, then the frustration will build. So what we want to work on is keeping her in this. So here we go, so this where, and this is nice, she's looking up, she wants more treats, but she's going to get distracted in a minute, and she's going to check out, and now she's going to, and the crying will kick in 10 more seconds. Whereas if we'd have kept her in that scenario, we keep that arousal level down. My rule of thumb is that I want the behaviour completed, and then as quickly as that point is when the marker comes in, within a second. After a second has passed from the behaviour being completed, you can then, in my opinion, run the risk of the dog not linking what the behaviour to what is. The marker is essentially a bridge between the reward and the behaviour. So you might insert confusion between what behaviour it is that's being marked and therefore rewarded. Or punished in it's the same thing with your at. That's why as soon as she breaks, that's why I want that at coming in immediately, because you want her to, it needs to be crystal clear in her head what it is that she's being challenged is the getting up. It wasn't getting up and moving 4 steps, because she was like, well, was it the 4th step that you're upset with? So no. It was you just immediately, that's what the problem was. And it's the same in reverse for behaviours. So if we're asking for a sit, for me, it's the second the bum touches the floor. Yes, click, whatever it is. Yeah, once the cue is conditioned, so she knows what a sit is. So yeah, sit, behaviour, yes, reward.